Hey everyone, this is Monica at Tranquil Living, where we help you turn your chaos into calm. In today's video, we're going to be talking about chapter 5 in my book, How to Be More Intentional in Our Spaces. Let's get into it. As I've said in other videos, I have read and done so much research in my early 20s about organization and its ability to help us live a more tranquil life. But over the course of my lifetime, so in the past 20 years since I really started getting interested in all of this, I have come up with 6 rules to live by. And this will help you to definitely be more intentional in your spaces. The first rule is 1 in and 1 out. Now, I know as a typical American, I had 5 or 6 of pretty much everything for the just in case moment. But it came down to this point in my life where I had so many things and I couldn't fit everything into the space that I was living in. Now, I also travel quite a bit. And when I travel, I was finding myself picking up all of these things. They were all super functional. It wasn't like they were knickknacks that were going to clutter my shelves. They were all functional things. But for example, I kept buying sarongs. And I love sarongs and they're beautiful and they're so functional. But no one person needs 10 sarongs. So once I decluttered and I got down to the number that I felt comfortable with, I now have the 1 in, 1 out rule. And anytime that I buy something, I have to think, is it something that I actually need? Of course, not everything we buy is things that we need. Sometimes we just buy things that we like. But if I bring something in, then I have to take something out. In my house, I have drawers. And if I know that the drawer is already packed full of stuff, and I'm at the store and I see something and I'm like, oh, I really want that, I think to myself, okay, where is that thing going to go? Can it comfortably fit into that place? And if the answer is no, because if the space is already filled, then I have to think to myself, okay, which one can I get rid of? Oftentimes, this will make it so that you realize you don't really want to buy the item because you don't want to get rid of any of the items that you already have. So this is a quick way for you, number 1, to limit the amount of things that you bring into your house, but also it sets a limit so that you know that if the item doesn't fit in the space that it actually goes in, then, and you don't want to get rid of something that's already in the space, then you don't need to bring it into the house to begin with. The second one goes along with the first one. It's, do I like it more than something I already have? For me, this is jewelry. I love jewelry. I have collected jewelry my whole life, even since the time I was a little girl. And I found myself having so much jewelry and no place to store it that I wasn't actually actively wearing all the jewelry that I had, because the way in which it was stored, I couldn't see all of it. So now when I go to any store, especially when I'm traveling and I go to a jewelry market, let's say, I ask myself, okay, what do I have that would match this? So for example, these earrings, okay? I actually made these earrings, but I have some earrings that are similar to this. If I was at the market and I was thinking to myself, oh, I really like those earrings, okay, well, what would I normally wear it with? What am I already wearing? What piece of jewelry am I already wearing with that outfit? Do I like it better than that? So would I choose this earring over an earring that I already have? And if the answer is no, then I know I don't actually need to buy it. Now, this can be for anything in your house. If you're buying something and you know that you have something at home that you also like and that you also use, you need to ask yourself, can this item replace another item? Or is it going to live on its own and live its best life? If you don't like it more than something that you already have, then it's a surefire way that you don't need to bring that item in. The first 2 have to do with sort of limiting what we're bringing into the home, but also having sort of a stop point of knowing when we need to let things go and when we can actually bring things in. The next one is like with like. Now, this is something that my mom taught me when I was a teeny tiny tot. And when you're organizing things in your house, you should have things together that are similar. Now, obviously, if I look in your cutlery drawer, most of your forks and your spoons and your knives, they would all be tucked nicely into those little compartments. But if I go and I look in other cabinets and other things, you might have pots and pans in 3 different cabinets. You might have small appliances in 4 different cabinets. You might have mugs in 3 different places. So when you're organizing, it's best to keep everything together for the particular thing that you're going to do. Some examples of this: obviously, all the things that I use to create are in my art studio. And when I go into my art studio, I have a feeling that, let's say I want to paint. I don't want to have to go to 7 different places in my art studio to get everything that I'm going to need to paint. All of my paint stuff should be in one section. All of my crochet stuff should be in one drawer. All of my pens should be in one cup or one area. When we don't put like with like, we're having to find things constantly, and that's a waste of time. If you want to talk about not having enough time, organizing and putting like with like will save you so much time. You won't have to look for items because you will always know that that item is with the other items that are like it. Now, in my kitchen, I have mugs in 2 different places because I have 2 different types of mugs. I have mugs that I only use for tea, and I have mugs that I only use for coffee. So my mugs that are for coffee are with my coffee making stuff, and my mugs for tea are with my tea making stuff. All the things that I need to make tea, it's together. All the stuff I need to make coffee, it's together. I'm not having to travel to 4 or 5 different places in my kitchen to get all of the things that I need to make a cup of coffee. I go to the section, I get my filter, I get my mocha pot, I get my coffee, I get my teaspoon, I get my mug, and the kettle is right there for me to be able to use that as well. Everything that I need is together with things that are like it that I will use in order to create something, whether it be a fabulous art piece or whether it's just my morning cup of joe. I don't know one person in this life who does not procrastinate, myself included. Now, there are some times where I feel like I have a fire lit under my bum and I am ready to do whatever it is that I need to do. And other times I cannot force myself to do anything because I'm procrastinating on doing something that I don't really want to do. I implemented a rule a very long time ago when I was in my late 20s, and it's the 5-minute or less rule. If the thing, whatever it is, takes you 5 minutes or less, you have to do it right then, whenever you think about it. Because what we often do is we get distracted with things, and then we think about that thing, whatever we were supposed to do. Let's say it's clearing off the countertop after dinner. I'm getting into bed, I'm snuggled in my PJs, and that countertop is running in my head because I did not clear it off. And I know that when I wake up in the morning, I'm going to see it and I'm not going to like it. And I would have wished that I would have just taken the 5 minutes to clear off the countertop at the end of the night. Your brain naturally replays events over and over and over. And the events that are not closed or finished, those are the things that cycle in our head. That keeps you up. Maybe you don't have any issues with that and you go straight to sleep. But most people, whatever is unfinished, it goes in your head and you'll think about it again and again. Maybe it's just picking up the clothes that you threw over the chair when you got home from work. Or maybe it is sweeping at the end of the day after you've made a big meal and there's mess all over the floor. There's so many things that we have to do in a day, but if we actually think about how much time that thing is going to take us, if it takes less than 5 minutes, then just do it, because that's going to close the book in your head. That's going to say, done, check mark, hello, you finished. And you don't have to think about that thing again until maybe tomorrow or the next time that you need to do it. The thing about procrastination is we tell ourselves a story about normally how hard something is going to be or how much time it's going to take us. And we then, because we don't like new things, our brain does not like new things, we want comfort, we tell ourselves the story, we end up not doing things. And then after we actually finish that thing, whatever it was, we quickly realize that it wasn't that big of a deal to begin with. But the next time we have to do that thing, oftentimes we forget and we procrastinate again. Doing this 5-minute or less task immediately will pinpoint exactly what you need to do when you need to do it, which is one thing. But also, it'll make it easier for you to do other things. When I clean my countertop at the end of the night, that's one thing that I do. But then I also make sure that I'm picking up anything around that area as well. So doing that 5-minute task will sort of ignite you into doing other things that you need to do. You just need to get over the hump and convincing your brain that you don't want to do that thing. It's okay. It's only 5 minutes. And when you just start, the 5 minutes is over in no time, and then you can move on to whatever else you want to. The next one is something that I used to fight with my mom about constantly. Every morning she would tell me before I went to school to make my bed. And I always thought to myself, what is the point? I'm just going to get in the bed and ruin the covers when I get home anyway. So what is the point of making my bed? And I fought with her all my teenage years and even into my late teens when I moved out on my own for the first time when I was 18. I didn't make my bed. And I thought it was no big deal. And I didn't even notice that it was affecting me until I decided to start making my bed. The next, just the one thing. And when I say making your bed, I just mean pulling the comforter over or pulling the sheet over, putting your pillows in place, and that's it. You don't have to be like tucking sheets and other crazy stuff like that. Making your bed, it only literally takes about 30 seconds. But that 30 seconds makes for so many changes in how you feel when you walk in your bedroom later. If you don't believe me, do it. Just try it for a week and see how much better you feel about your bedroom. When you make your bed usually is the biggest thing in your bedroom, for one thing. So it covers the most space of anything else in your room. So if you make your bed and you just sort of like wipe the comforter and sort of lay the crease, there's no creases on the bed. When you do that, the majority of your room looks tidy. And remember, our brain likes organization and it likes tidy. So when you do that, all the other stuff that you might have in your room, let's say things on your dresser, if you have a dresser, things hanging on a couch or chair or whatever, those things don't seem as bad because that's only a small portion of your bedroom. So all these places that we have in our bedroom, they seem very small comparatively to the bed. But also, when you have the bed made and it seems tidy, it automatically makes you want to keep the other areas tidy as well. When you walk into your room and you see a made bed, there is a change in the chemical components of your body. I don't know how it is, but you will automatically feel more at ease. When you come into a room that the bed is not made, the sheets or the comforter is torn back, the pillows are thrown wherever you normally throw them when you sleep, you automatically feel like you have something to do. And who wants to feel like that when you get home at the end of the day and you walk into your bedroom and all you want to do is sleep? Even if you think to yourself, I'm going to get into that bed, your brain sees the bed unmade and it automatically registers in your brain that something is not complete, something is not whole, something is not made, and you get a feeling from that. Now, you can ignore the feeling and you can just get into your bed, and that's fine. But if you really want to clear the clutter from your head and you really want to be more calm, just try this for a week. Make your bed. It takes 30 seconds in the morning and see how you feel at the end of the day, at the end of the week, when you've made your bed for a whole week. I think you'll be surprised. The last one is end of evening pickup. Now, I know people with children especially, this is a game changer. When you have kids especially, this is the same for when I was in the classroom with my students. If we took, let's say, 5 minutes, it normally didn't take long because I had so many students and they helped tidy up. But if you would take, let's say, 10 minutes as a family at the end of the night before you go to sleep, and you pick up everything in the house. And when I say pick up, I just mean put things back to where they originally should be going. Pillows are back on the couch. Your, Afghan or your blanket is folded on the couch. Your electronics are on the charger. Your dishes are put away. Anything else that you have used, the toys that the kids have used are put back into their bedroom. Everything is put back into their place. When you wake up in the morning, you will automatically feel more at ease, more at peace, and less cluttered in your mind and in your life if you do this cleanup. It only takes 10 minutes. I know you're tired. I get it. I know that you're like on the way to bed, but just take that 10 minutes, because I promise in the morning when you wake up, it's a completely different feeling to waking up to tranquility and serenity because everything is in its place, versus waking up to what you did yesterday. When you wake up to a house that is put together and tidy, you think about all the possibilities of that day. You think about all the things that you can do, all the goals that you can work towards. When you wake up to a house that is cluttered, all you can think about is the day before. And you shouldn't be thinking about the day before. You should only be thinking about today and what you're going to do today to be a better version of yourself than you were tomorrow. So take that 10 minutes, set a timer for your kids, set a timer for yourself if you want to, and dedicate 10 minutes right before you sleep to tidying. You'll be surprised at the instant transformation that it will help you to feel inner stillness in your well-being.